Alright, hello, I'm back. I'm sorry I haven't posted a while for this series, but yeah, today we're going to do loops. Loops are pretty self-explanatory. They just loop a certain like chunk of code a certain amount of times. So there's two main loops you need to know about. We have while loops and for loops. The first thing we're going to talk about are for loops. So how for loops work are it lets you loop through something a certain amount of times. So how you write a for loop is you start with the keyword for and then get the number of the times you're going to get. So that can be like a name, you could have that be number. Uh, it's called an index. So traditionally, people will use index or set it as I. I'll have it set to I, and then you'll have I equals your starting number, and then the max number you want to reach to, and then the increment. If you want to increment down, for example, what you would do is this, and then do -1, because then, of course, when it adds that, then it's going to go down. So but we don't want to go down, not for now. So we'll do for I um, do, and then remember like sandwiches, like with functions or events or if statements, we'll have the end at the thing here, and then we'll indent with tab. So what I'm going to do right now is just print out I into the output. Remember, press Control S to save. Oh, yes. And if we open up the output, we can see that it's counted up to 10. So if you want to do something like, for example, let's make a timer. So how you would do that is we'll do print I and then wait like 1 second. So we can make a timer with that. See, it'll print out every few seconds until every second until we reach 10, which then it will stop. So you could also do that backwards. Let me showcase that as I said earlier. So we'll have our starting number be 10, the last number will be 1, and we will increment by -1, so it goes down. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that will be it. You can also set it to, for example, like 0 if you're that kind of guy, but also keep in mind this does not have to be 1 here. This can also be like 2. That also works just as fine. Do increments of 2. That works just as well. You won't reach your goal but of like 10, but yeah, since it's odd numbers. Another way to use for loops, and this is very commonly used, is something where we loop through a table. First, I probably should explain what a table is. So, tables, what they are, the way you write a table is you do like a normal variable, and then you get these little squiggly braces. I think they're called braces, and you can. This just contains multiple values. So it can contain booleans, contain strings. It can contain numbers. It can contain different types of values. So you need to understand that concept for this next thing. So what we'll do is we'll write a table. We'll just call it table, and we'll have uh, me, you, and I guess, I don't know. So we'll have these three values, and how we loop through the table is we do for I as an index, v this is value. This is the value of the item. So the index is this like 1, 2, and 3. If you're coming from another programming language like C++, Lua's arrays start in 1 instead of 0. So this would be 1, this would be 2, and this would be 3. So I value in pairs. So in here we are going to put our table. So we'll put the table we made, and we'll just print out the value, I guess. So here we can see it prints out me, you, and I in that order, because that's the values outputted in. And we can also print I. So me 1, you 2, I 3. So that is the position it is in the table. So those are for loops. That's important. Another thing you will want to, we'll use a while, no pun intended, is a while loop. So how while loops work is it will loop through a value. We'll just get like value equals false. It will loop while a value is set to a condition. So while value, remember the equals equals from the if statements, while value equals false, do, and end, and this will do whatever is in here while this is this condition. So print 1. So one thing you can do is an infinite while loop. That is where you just set this to like while true, and this will loop infinitely because true will always equal true. I will have to warn you, you have to put a wait here, otherwise your thing will just like crash because it's running constantly. Your game's just gonna crash. So you can put a wait here. It doesn't have to have a value. You can put a value, but I'm just not gonna put a value into C. So look at that. See how that's constantly it's constantly updating. You can see this go up, actually. It's just constantly printing stuff. So you can use that to like just loop something infinitely. We'll do a counter, so while counter plus equals 1. Also, something I should note, this plus equals is just like a quicker way of doing counter equals counter plus 1. It's a little shortcut that's built into the programming language. So, oh, I spelled that wrong. Uh-oh, I forgot. Whoa. um, yeah, this is what happens when you don't put a wait. See, it can't load it because it's running constantly. So we're just gonna have to close out of that. So again, remember to put a wait. And we'll print counter as well. So you can see this counting up. This will count up infinitely since we did it in the while true do loop. So it will just keep counting up and counting up. Another fun little thing we can do is this little thing called instance.new. This will spawn in a new instance, and we can do, you have to put in the name of it. So I want to spawn in like a part. I think that's its class name. Let me check. Yes. And you add here where you want to spawn it in. I'll add the environment, and we can see what happens. Remove that little delay there. I think they're just spawning in the thing, so we'll get this part dot anchored equals false. So that'll make it just like have physics. So it'll just launch out. Yep. You see, we're just constantly spawning stuff every single frame, and it's about 60 frames a second. I don't think I can show like the frames. I can turn off VSync. So this is spawning stuff every like 360 parts a second. And you can't really see that because it's moving, the physics are moving so slowly because so much stuff is spawning, but yeah. It's a nice little stress test, I guess, for your PC. Yeah, that's really it. I guess I could show like an example of like a normal while loop. So while counter, oh my gosh, I cannot spell. Counter is less than 10. Counter plus equals 1 and print counter. So it will do this until, oh, it will do this until counter equals 10. So I know that's kind of useless because you could just use a for loop for that, but I don't care. So yep, those are loops. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments. And of course, remember to press Control S to save your work. Goodbye.